What is up, guys? Back again with another Reddit Explains video. Today we are going to be focusing on the Rodrygo to Liverpool rumors. This one, honestly, is for myself. I really, from the beginning of these windows, have been seeing the Rodrygo rumors, and I just don't understand it. When it started with Arsenal, I don't think Rodrygo is much of an upgrade on Gabriel Martinelli. I know there's a lot of Gabriel Martinelli slander right now, and everyone's really low on him, and there's the possibility of an Eze signing for Arsenal to basically help back up the left wing. You know, Noni Madueke might be challenging for that left wing position as well. But when you look at the stats, and even when you look at the players themselves, I've never really been overly impressed with Rodrygo. Anything that he does on the ball, I think his ball striking is obviously better than Martinelli's, but I think Martinelli's dribbling and one-on-one creations are a lot better than Rodrygo. So when I see somebody with a 90 million euro fee who has scored 10 goals, he's only scored double-digit goals in the league for Real Madrid once in his entire time at Real Madrid. This last season, he just scored 6 goals as the right wing for Real Madrid. And I know people are going to say, oh, but he prefers to play left wing, and that's why he's not having the same goal output. You are in La Liga on one of the two best teams where you dominate the majority of the ball and the chances the entire game, and you can't score more than 6 goals. Vinny scoring double-digit goals every season. Mbappe comes over, he scores double-digit goals. You're telling me Rodrygo, who's been in the league now for 3-4 years at Real Madrid, can't score double-digit goals? He's done it once, and this most recent season he scores 6 goals. I barely think he is better. I'm not even sure if he's better than Martinelli. So now when I think of them swapping out Luis Diaz, who is in his prime and just had one of the best seasons he's ever had in the Prem, helped them lead themselves to a title, I was really confused by it, which is why I reached out to Reddit so we could start getting into everyone's opinions. So first he would play left wing mostly, and when Salah goes to AFCON, he could switch over to the right. He won't be starved for minutes, neither would Gakpo, Isaac, Ekitike with all the games Liverpool play. It could only hurt Rio's development, which is Rio, the young 16-year-old left winger. Even when Elliot, Chiesa, and Nunes leaving, it might not. See, this is my thing, though, is you would like to think he would play left wing, but my thing is you're spending 90 million euros for a left winger that I don't even really know if he's better than Gakpo. I think Gakpo is more of a goal threat. And I do understand Salah is going to be leaving for AFCON for about a month. So, okay, are you really making a 90 million euro signing for the fact that Salah is going to leave for a month? So I don't understand it fully. And then I think the thoughts of he won't be starved for minutes, neither would Gakpo, Isaac, Ekitike. Well, now the narrative with Ekitike, talking after we've seen that they're going to go for Isaac, is that Ekitike might play left wing. So if Gakpo's at left wing and Ekitike is at left wing as well, well, then Rodrygo is going to have to play right wing. He's going to have to put back up to Mohamed Salah. And you got Frimpong, who might be playing more as a winger instead of a right back. And if he's now going to be playing right wing because Mohamed Salah goes to AFCON, well, isn't that the issue for him at Real Madrid? Isn't that the excuse that's being made for Rodrygo? Oh, he's not performing well at Real Madrid because he's playing right wing. He's a preferred left winger. But if the thought process is, okay, he's going to play right wing when Salah leaves, well, now you're just playing him back in the position that he struggles. He's only been able to score 6 goals this last season starting for Real Madrid. So I don't know fully if I love this take, but I understand what he's saying. Next, I want to go straight to this, not worth the money, Arsenal fan. And then followed up with, you wouldn't take him at Arsenal and not for that money, way too expensive and on those wages. I fully agree where I don't think he's worth the money. I think if this was more of a signing where he comes in for 50 million euros, 55, 45, somewhere in that range, you can take the risk, and if he comes and he performs like he does at La Liga, which is scoring 6 or 7 goals, wouldn't be the best, wouldn't be the worst, but you wouldn't think that you made a terrible signing, because when you come with that 90 million euro price tag, you better be scoring double-digit goals, and you better be changing the game. You better be taking your defender on one-on-one, creating chances, XG, expected assists, everything. And I just don't think that's his game. sometimes I've seen the narrative of, oh, well, we're selling Luis Diaz to fund Rodrygo, but I would rather sell Rodrygo to fund Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz is more dynamic on the ball. He's better at one-on-one situations. He's more of a goal threat, and he has Prem experience. You're now bringing over a 24-year-old Brazilian who literally isn't performing well in La Liga, and you're going to bring him over to a more physical league and expect him to just perform even better. I don't really understand it, but I don't understand it. I completely agree. I think he's just not worth the money at this moment in time. This next guy says, if Isak joins Liverpool, there's almost zero possibility that Rodrygo goes to Liverpool. I agree as well. I think if Isak goes, there's no way they have another 90 million euros to spend on Rodrygo, and I don't even think you need to. I'm just not fully sure if Isak is going to go to Liverpool. I'm starting to see Saudi rumors, so I'm not sure if he's going to go to Liverpool. I think it would make the most sense, but I'm not sure. He follows up with saying if Isak stays at Newcastle, there's a much higher chance, but it's still unlikely. I think the fact that there's even a high chance that Rodrygo would go to Liverpool, that Liverpool would want Rodrygo out of all the winger possibilities, even just keeping Luis Diaz would be better. Starting Cody Gakpo and getting in someone. I think if you are really willing to let go of Luis Diaz, he wants to leave. Apparently, he's made it known that he wants to leave this summer. Then let Cody Gakpo start at left wing. When he played and he started this season at left wing, he was really, really competent. He was really, really good, and that's without really a real striker. They were playing Luis Diaz as a striker a lot. They weren't playing out and out strikers. Darwin Núñez wasn't playing well. So if you have an Isak up front or an Ekitike, imagine now all the space someone like Cody Gakpo would have to be able to cut in on his right foot and score. So I would rather give the opportunity to Cody Gakpo to start and signing a backup that's younger for 40, 30 million euro and having him play a couple minutes here and there and shadow behind Cody Gakpo and learn behind Cody Gakpo. But I don't know. This next guy says Liverpool are short of numbers when Núñez and Chiesa leave. I keep seeing people bring up Chiesa. Chiesa barely was even in the team selection all season. So Chiesa wasn't even part of Liverpool really last season. So I don't know why they keep bringing up Chiesa. But yeah, Darwin Núñez is going to leave. Going into the season with Gakpo, Ekitike, and Salah with a near 17-year-old Rio. Rio's good as depth would be insane unless Slot was to go full time on the dual 10s, false 9s, like in some bigger games last season. Listen, I agree. I think you want depth. You want this level of experience, but I don't think if you're saying, oh, we need depth, are you spending 90 million euros for Rodrygo for depth? That's what I'm not saying, because you'll have Cody Gakpo, you'll have Ekitike, you'll have Salah, you'll have Alexander Isak, and you'll have Frimpong also that could play right wing, and then you'll have Wirtz that could also play on the wing. And if Wirtz is playing on the wing, you have Szoboszlai that steps in the 10. You kind of already have a good amount of depth. And if you want, you could keep Chiesa. I don't know why they never used Chiesa. So they have a good amount of depth, and they do have like the young prospect of Rio. So you don't need to sign a 90 million euro signing for depth. This is kind of the point I'm saying is I agree that going into a season without a large amount of depth is bad, but I think they actually do have a good amount of depth. They have Wirtz, Gakpo that could play left wing. They have Ekitike. They have Ekitike, Isak that play striker. They have Salah, Frimpong that could play right wing. They have Rio that could play as the third backup across left wing or right wing. So they actually have a good amount of depth. And they have Szoboszlai that could play at the 10, McAllister that could play at the 10, Wirtz that could play at the 10. They have a good amount of depth. Why are you signing Rodrygo as a left winger for 90 million euros for depth? But he goes into realistically need a starting level forward who plays central or left. If not Isak, then Rodrygo would be the best available. See, but I need everyone to focus in on this. When people say, if not Isak, then Rodrygo would be the best available. What is Rodrygo good at? What makes Rodrygo the best available? He's had one good season where he scored 10 goals in La Liga. I wouldn't even qualify that as a good season if you're playing for Real Madrid and you're one of their starting forwards. So you're telling me a guy that just came off a 6-goal season playing for one of the best teams in La Liga is one of the best available? I don't agree. And That's the thing is 90 million euros. You can go sign someone that isn't quote unquote available. They're not on the transfer list from their team right now. But if you offer 90 million euro, you can go and get them. So that's kind of my issue is the price tag doesn't match the output. You're signing. Imagine telling somebody without the PR that Rodrygo has. Rodrygo just has this insane PR where he scored those 2 goals against Manchester City for Real Madrid to advance in the Champions League. So he's still living off that PR. Imagine telling somebody we're going to sign a right forward, a right winger that just started for Real Madrid all season and scored 6 goals for 90 million euros. Nobody would agree with that. Nobody would understand that take. So I don't understand why it's always, oh, but he's the best available. I don't think he's the best available. He's not the best even. He's not the best at anything. He's barely better than Gabriel Martinelli. I don't even think he is. So I don't like when they say he's the best available in this moment. And this fan saying it won't work, it's too much money. I agree. That's really is what it is to me. It is too much money. And I'll finish up with this Arsenal fan saying he's a good young player with loads of experience who can play anywhere across the front three, but has been unable to play in his preferred role on the left due to Vinny and Mbappe. He also has a great work rate. See, he is a good young player, but there are so many good young players that you can get that aren't worth 90 million euro. And I think the cope that we're giving, the free out that we're giving Rodrygo, that he's a left winger, but he's playing right wing. Listen, man, you're playing for Real Madrid. You're playing for one of the best teams in La Liga. Like I've said so many times, you have some of the best midfielders providing you chances. It doesn't matter if you're a left winger or a right winger. You should score more than 6 goals. And I'm going to leave that at that. He says his numbers look poor last season, but I think a lot of that has to be attributed to dysfunctional Madrid last season. Madrid was still pretty competitive most games. They finished in second place. They weren't as dysfunctional as people want to make it out to seem. The arrival of Mbappe also reduced Rodrygo's chances by a decent margin. But the thing with that is, when you bring in good players should also get more chances. Mbappe is creating Rodrygo's space. Mbappe is going on these runs that he can now provide a ball for Rodrygo to. Mbappe's going on those runs where he can provide a ball for Rodrygo to finish. So I don't agree with this take at all. I don't think bringing in good players takes away XG and chances from Rodrygo. I think if anything, it's vice versa. And then he says, I believe he'd work for Liverpool and any attack that values his defensive work rate and won't rely on him to be the main man. But you can't be spending 90 million euros for someone who has a good work rate and you don't want to rely on him. It's you that can't be what we're thinking here, right? We're going to spend 90 million euros on a winger because his work rate is great, and he, as long as you don't rely on him to be the main man, it'll be a good signing. That will never get you back your investment of 90 million euros. I think the way this fan has been described it is what bothers me so much about this overall transfer. And I'll finish with this: is Rodrygo's a baller. As a Madrid supporter, I hate that we're losing him and sort of hate how we treated him this entire time. Listen, man, I think you could say he's a good player. He's an overall above average footballer. Baller, I think, is just too far. And if you want to defend why he's a baller, please let me know in the comments. Explain how someone who's only scored double-digit goals once in his career at Real Madrid is a baller and is worth 90 million euros. I don't know, guys. I really don't see it. I think Reddit explains it. Reddit's explaining their opinion. They're saying how it could work, how it couldn't work. But for me, I don't see it. Let me know in the comments down below if you see it, what you think of Rodrygo, if you think he's worth the fee. Thank you, guys.